My name is Jarrett Bryan, a reporter for Channel 4 News. We're outside the church, the Big M, the Emirates, home of the Arsenal, the great Arsenal FC. Very, very excited to get on and do this FS on the spot. I've been an Arsenal supporter, we're probably thinking now 92. A good friend of mine who I was friends with when I was younger, his dad was a massive Arsenal fan. And I used to go around to his house and hang out with my friend then. He's always at Arsenal, always chatting about Arsenal, and his enthusiasm for Arsenal really made me love the football club. And yeah, that was also aligned with the signing of Ian Wright. Ian Wright was a big reason why I supported Arsenal, because I love Ian Wright. He was my footballing hero. I love the fact that he was a bit off the wall. You didn't see a lot of kind of like black guys at that time that were kind of like a bit street, a bit fun. And yeah, Ian Wright was the kind of guy, there's enthusiasm, excitement, goals are scored. He was a London boy. He was a big reason as well why I supported that team. Okay, so I think everyone's kind of got their own definition of what world-class is, and my bar is quite high. I don't think there's many world-class players really in the Premier League. At Arsenal, obviously the only world-class players we probably have, I would probably say is maybe Sanchez, because a world-class player for me has to be someone that can get into a world 11. And I think Sanchez probably could. I don't think he walks into a world 11. So I'll probably say Alexis Sanchez. I don't think that Ozil is quite on that bracket. Petr Cech probably is in that bracket as well, to be fair. So I think anyone that follows me and follows my podcast, Football Fans Podcast, will know that I would like Wenger to leave, and I've wanted him to leave for about 5 years. Now, that doesn't mean to say that I don't respect what the man has done for this club. He's a legend. Will always be a legend. He's transformed not only this club, but in my view, football in this country. The guy has done so much for this football team, and we'll always be in debt to what he's done. The culture has changed, the football we play, the players we can now attract. But I think there comes a time when you have to be a bit ruthless, and I think that despite the transformation the club has gone through in the last 11, 12 years, which he's managed and handled very, very well, I still don't think nearly 12 years without a Premier League trophy is good enough. I don't think nearly 20 years without a Champions League in your back pocket is good enough either. And I just have doubts as to whether he can really get us to those top 2 trophies again. I think that he used to be great, as a journalist on radio says. He's not really anymore. I love the guy, but I think that we need to really move on and start looking now at least to groom the next guy to replace Arsene Wenger. In the Premier League, at the moment, I'd probably say Manchester United, simply because I think that they believe their team is better than it is. I've said for nearly a year and a half now, I don't think that team is a very, very good team. I don't see them as title contenders. I think they're kind of dragging themselves, like Arsenal to be fair, into a title race by virtue of Chelsea being so poor. So Chelsea being poor has almost opened it up for everyone now. But I'm not convinced by United's team. I think United supporters believe that their team is better than it actually is. Generally, I think Liverpool are the most deluded fans in the Premier League. I'm sorry. It's not 1988 anymore. You're not one of the biggest clubs in Europe, biggest teams in Europe. You're a selling club. But their fans will tell you that they think they should be in the top 3, top 2, and no, I'm sorry, no. So I think right now, I think United fans have a very weird, warped view of how good their team is and whether they should be challenging for the title. But overall, I would say Liverpool fans are very good. The obvious one is probably Aguero. I think he's the best centre forward in the world, in my view. So he would be the easy one. But I don't think goals is a problem for Arsenal. I think protection in front of that back 4 is a bigger problem. I would go for someone that can shield the back 4 and or with Coquelin. So I would go for somebody a bit left field, someone like Wanyama. I think Wanyama, and in certain games next to Coquelin, you're not getting through that duo. Who else in the Premier I like? Centre backs. I'm a big fan of John Stones. I think he's the next big one to blow. But I'd probably say Wanyama. I'll go Wanyama. interest. Win or lose, good or bad, there's always interest in Arsenal. Pain, even when we win, there's pain. And class. Where do I think? Where do I want them to finish? Where do I think they'll finish? Again, because Chelsea have been so poor and have kind of walked themselves out of the title race, it's opened up the whole top six for me. Chelsea are now in that battle for now 6th, 5th and 4th in my view. So that's again warped where Tottenham and Liverpool can finish. I think they will finish. I'm going to go 8th. Because I think teams like West Ham, Swansea, even Stoke and Crystal Palace are not playing this year. So I think Tottenham are going to finish 8th. Okay, so again, about 3-4 years now, I've been saying a guy that a lot of people disagree with me on, but someone that I've watched for a while and I think should be groomed as the next manager at Arsenal, Frank de Boer. I mean, the Ajax manager, he'd be the person that I would be grooming. I think he's young, I think he plays the right brand of football, I think that he can draw top players, he speaks good English, and I think he understands the English culture and what football means in this country. I think he might bring Bergkamp, he's number 2. And something about him that I like. I think he's hit the ceiling at Ajax. It's time for him to move, and I fear that someone else might get him before we do. But Pep's is a good one as well. I wanted Klopp, but I'll probably say Frank de Boer. For the last 4 years, I've been saying I'll take him. Deluded Arsenal fans. Well, I'm a big fan actually of Arsenal Fan TV. I've got a lot of time for Robbie and what he's doing now. I think he's doing a really good thing for the club and more importantly for the fans of the club. But there's some real deluded fans on Arsenal Fan TV. I'm not going to name any names, that's not really fair. But I think those that watch Arsenal Fan TV will probably know what I'm talking about. They just have this idea that we're this team that I don't think we are. Not yet anyway. Who else? Weirdly enough, Nigel Winterburn. Whenever I hear him on TV talk about Arsenal, he always seems to have us as this kind of great team that's like close to contending and winning the title. And I always disagree with Nigel Winterburn. And Ray Parlour's another one as well. Ray Parlour's on TalkSport a lot, and I just think Ray Parlour again. There seems to be a lot of mouthpieces for Arsene Wenger that spout out this narrative that we're close and we're close and we're close and we should do this, we should. And it's like, get real. Let's realise what we are and then take stock of where we should be. But let's not be deluded about where we are. That's when you kind of get a really weird perspective of who you are and what you can do. So I think those probably through to some guys on Arsenal Fan TV, Nigel Winterburn and Ray Parlour. Truthful, passionate, provocative. Yeah, it could. It could. I mean, I think Wenger's run out of excuses now. I think now is the time that he has to, at the bare minimum, title contend. And my definition of title contending isn't what's happening now. It's title contending with 5, 6, 7 games to go of the season. Do you have an honest shout of winning the title? So in that last month and a bit of the season, are you in the mix? Not now, not Christmas, not even February. The last 5, 6, 7 games, are you in the mix? He has to at least be with a shout of winning the title come that last 6 weeks of the season. We've got a squad. We've got a settled squad, we've got a top keeper, we've got a star X Factor in Sanchez, we've got Ozil settled in now, Santi, we've got Giroud and Walcott seem to be pushing each other now, we've got a defence that seems to be pretty solid now, so of course we can, and I would expect at the bare minimum Wenger to at least compete. You haven't necessarily got to win it, but at the minimum, for me, it's got to be top 2. Will Klopp be successful for Liverpool? I think he will. I think this year might be a season too early for him. I think that as long as he can get them comfortably top 6, top 5, I think that will be perceived as 3/4 of a good season for Liverpool. I think he'll instill a level of defensive discipline in that team. I think he'll reinvigorate a lot of the players there that need it. And more importantly, I think that the reason why they brought him in is because I think that he's an overachiever. Klopp is a man that can overachieve, and Liverpool need a guy that can overachieve because they're not going to get the top players in world football. But the next tier down of players that they possibly can get, he will turn them, similar to what Suarez did at Liverpool. When Liverpool bought Suarez, he wasn't a world-class striker. He was a top striker. He wasn't world-class. Liverpool brought him in. Now look at Luis Suarez. He's got to do that again. He's got to find those players that are top players and turn those players into world-class players. And I think Klopp can do that. So the next 2 or 3 years, I think Liverpool should be quite excited and quite hopeful of where they can finish. Very. I like Gabriel. I think that he has a bit of that fire that we've been lacking. Now, it's well and good having fire in your belly, but you need to marry that with brains and not let that fire kind of overrule your decision making and your temperament in games. But the guy can defend. I think he's now similar to Ozil. I think he's getting acclimatised to Premier League now. He's knowing what he can and can't get away with. I'm not convinced by Mertesacker, and alongside an injury to Coquelin, Mertesacker is the one reason I do have doubts about Arsenal's credentials. I'm not sure if you win Premier League titles with Mertesacker at centre back, but to be fair to him, he's been decent so far this season. So Gabriel, I think will be the long-term partner for Koscielny, and could prove quite integral to our chances this season. Yeah.
And the Kid Sai asked, do you see West Ham maintaining their current form if they were to make a few smart additions in January?
Yes, and yes and no. I mean, yes, because if you bring in better players, you're going to, in theory, do better. But I think that we're 10 games in. So what West Ham have done so far has been pretty amazing, beating Arsenal, Liverpool, Palace and City all away from home. That's phenomenal. We're 10 games in. Let's see where they are in 10 games from now. The Premier League does tend to the course of the Premier League does tend to gather momentum and flatten out, and those that really are going to do well come to the fore. West Ham doing well will be predicated by whether other teams get better as well. So if Chelsea get better, it doesn't matter who West Ham buy. Chelsea will probably beat them next time. Those sorts of teams as well. So I think West Ham should be very pleased with what's happening so far. A great village. A few new players can't hurt, but when I see them in the top 4, top 5 come May, I think more likely top 7, top 6.
3, 2, 1, let's go. 1. 1, 2, 3. 2, 4. Alright, we'll call it a day there.
I think we'll have to.